everybody, it's Em, back for another video. I thought I would do the Contradictions Book Tag that I've seen a few other people do. And so without further ado, let's just get into it. The first question is, I love this genre, but I didn't like this book. So I really love dark academia, I love mysteries, I love Shakespeare. On paper, If We Were Villains should have been the perfect book for me. Unfortunately, it was not. I didn't care for it. Yeah, so that's one that sticks out. I have a video about If We Were Villains from last year when I read it. You can go check that out if you want to know more about my feelings. Question 2. I rarely read this genre, but I loved this book. So I don't read hard sci-fi usually. It's not really my thing. But I did have to read Carl Sagan's Contact in college took a class called The Search for Extraterrestrial Life, because I was very much in an X-Files kind of thing, and it turned out to be a rocket science class, and it was really kind of cool, but also really kind of hard. But anyway, part of it was reading Contact, and I surprisingly really enjoyed that book. I have fond memories of laying out on the student, like what we called the mall, which is basically this big lawn, and reading it. Question 3. I love this trope, but I didn't like this book. So this was kind of hard. But I do like books where there's kind of this sense of fate between two characters, like they're meant to be or something. And then I really didn't like One Day in December, which had that kind of... It started out with like a sense of, that's the guy for me, because it was almost a love at first sight thing, so maybe that's why I didn't like it. Actually, no, that's not why I didn't like it. Again, I have a video about that if you want to go watch it. I didn't care for some of the cheating, and the characters, but yeah, usually I'm like, ooh, two people who are meant to be together, I can't wait to see how, fate works, and that, which is funny because I don't like chosen one prophecy stories, but I do like it when it feels like two people were meant to be together, like maybe they're from past lives, or I don't know. I'm weird. Okay, question number 4. I hate this trope, but I loved this book. So I really dislike the not like other girls, or this girl was like, oh, other girls don't like me because I'm different and weird and not like other girls. And yet I feel like Blue from the Raven Cycle kind of fits that bill, and still I really loved the Raven Cycle. You don't really see Blue with any female friends that I can recall. She ends up hanging out with the guys and kind of trying to figure out which guy she likes, I guess. But yeah, I usually wouldn't stand for that, and Blue's an okay character. Blue's maybe not my favorite thing about that series, but I really like that series. Question 5. I love this author, but I didn't like the book. Oh, I had like a lot of possibilities for this one. So I love Anne Rice. I couldn't finish Prince Lestat, didn't even try the whole Atlantis one. I don't know, it didn't work for me. Tana French. I love her books, but I tried to read The Witch Elm and couldn't get into that either. I love Kate Morton, but couldn't finish The Clockmaker's Daughter. So those are recent examples that I can think of books where I picked them up because I love those authors, and then those books I didn't finish any of those books. So hopefully, I've got The Searcher in my TBR stack by Tana French, so that's... I'm going to read that eventually at some point. If you can hear that, that's the washing machine. Okay, question 6. I previously disliked a book by this author, but I loved this book. I don't know if I'll say I loved it. Okay, so I tried to read House of Silk by Anthony Horowitz. I think that was who wrote it. And I never got very far in it. I did read Moriarty by him, and it was only okay. But I did really enjoy The Magpie Murders, And so maybe I just don't like that author's take on Holmes, but I like his other stuff. I don't know. There was something about the House of Silk that I just couldn't even get into, and I picked it up several times and tried to read it. Moriarty, I managed to get through, but wasn't as wowed as I think I was meant to be by the big twist or whatever. And Magpie Murders, I saw everything coming, but I still actually really enjoyed the book. So take that as you do. I love this cover, but I didn't like this book. There's a book that I had called America's First Daughter, and I will put it up on the screen if I can find a book cover for it. And that's another one that I started but never finished. I couldn't get into it. And then final question, I don't like this cover, but I loved this book. Okay, so growing up, this book was really, it meant a lot to me. It was The Changeling by Zilpha Keatley Snyder. The cover that I had, again, I will put up on the screen. I didn't love that cover. I'm sure it's had many iterations, but it still was just a fantastic book for me. It's one that I kind of want to reread, but kind of am scared to reread because I'm afraid that my memory won't live up to whatever is actually on the page. But anyway, that's it. That's a nice, short, sweet video, and I will see you next time. We'll talk about Absolute Boyfriend. We'll talk about the stuff I'm reading. You can hear my cat maybe howling, so I've got to go. I will see you next time. Like and subscribe. Thanks.